Hey YouTube, it is Wednesday, and they keep coming quick even though we're only here every other week. So this week we're talking a little bit about kind of our experiences in navigating and finding acceptance in the straight community, and then as well as kind of a compare and contrast to the LGBT community. In my personal experience, I've actually had less resistance and less trouble finding acceptance in the straight community, or at least by the people in my life that identify as straight and cisgender. Um, I've actually been surprisingly sort of rejected by the queer community. Um, in particularly, I was at Pride once, and I had no shirt on, so my scar was showing from top surgery, and a guy basically asked me why was I there, and I thought he was asking me like for work, for pleasure, and he was like no like why are you here? This is gay and lesbian pride, and so I was kind of taken aback by that. That was the first time that had really happened to me. I didn't really have an answer, so I just walked away because I was, I think, so caught off guard I didn't even know how to answer that. Um, And then a couple other times this has happened as well. The other times have been with lesbian women or lesbians. I guess that's sort of that's a silly, silly way to say it. Lesbians, people who identify as lesbian, um, and kind of this sort of feeling around me like rejecting my womanhood in order to benefit from male privilege and to seek somehow an easier road than just identifying as a butch woman. I've chosen to like cop out in a way and sort of take this easy road, which I don't consider easy. I don't think transitioning is an easy process. Um, but that's happened to me a couple times. So I've actually found that I feel slightly more rejected and slightly more cautious when I come out to queer groups because I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Um, I obviously don't just walk around telling people out in the day to day on the streets that I'm trans, so I don't know, I guess. But I've had less issues when I've had to come out to straight people like in my life that I interact with. You know, People don't really care. So, it sucks because I find that I feel like I should be accepted the most and supported by the most, or supported by the LGBT community or LGBT community versus the straight community. Just kind of my general thinking of it, and that seems to not have been the case. It's not to say that every time I go to a queer event that I'm not accepted or that trans people aren't accepted, but this has happened to me on several occasions with several different groups of people, and so it's hard for me now to judge when I go to something how people are going to take me or react. Um, and so I kind of approach it with, sort of, I don't know, I hate to say it, but I almost have to come at it like in a roundabout way. I listen for cues and hints to hear what people are talking about, and then if they're cool or they seem like they're talking about trans things in a positive light, um, I kind of go for it. But otherwise, I don't know. I kind of navigate cautiously. The other thing that um, I find really difficult is being in a relationship with a woman, um, is no problem in the straight community because people assume just your average boy and girl walking down the street, and obviously there's a lot more to our relationship than that, but that's what people see, and so we get treated that way, and um, I don't run into problems, or at least my problems aren't around my trans identity. My problems are more around race and class issues. Um, because my partner is white. Um, some white men tend to sort of see me as like passive, so they'll hit on her right in front of me and things like that. But that has nothing to do with my trans identity. That has to do with my race. So, which also, see, this is sad. I'm not trying to like rag on the LGBT community, but this is my experience, and this is kind of how things have been for me. And I hope that it's just been those couple times, and those times are over. But I don't know. Um, we actually have a really hard time finding a place within the LGBT community because we appear to be a straight couple. So it's almost like people don't assume, they just assume we're straight people that are cool with the going to Pride and being at these kind of events. When in reality, obviously, like, I feel like I'm a part of the community. She feels like she's a part of the community. Yet when we go to things, people don't think of us that way. They think of us as outsiders. Um, and it's like, unless I have to walk around without a shirt on, people even then don't really treat us or kind of bring us in like they did when I was identifying as a lesbian. Um, I just recognize the difference of how I'm treated, when I was identifying as a lesbian and going to pride events or things like that, as opposed to how I'm treated now. Um, there is a difference, in how I'm welcomed in. So, you know, um, which actually that's how I got kind of started on this idea of creating a caucus, or it's a workshop, but it's a labeled under a caucus at Creating Change next week, for trans people and their partners, because I'm curious to know how other people are navigating kind of different spaces, because I know there are obviously trans people that are still same gender loving. I have several friends that have, that are trans men and have male partners. How do they navigate kind of different communities? Are they accepted? And Jayden, who's also on this channel, is going to be presenting with us. So it'll be the three of us together, and I'm super stoked because I've never met him in person, so this will be really awesome. Um, that's kind of been my experience, and it's horrible to think that the people I think would be the most accepting have actually been the most hurtful. So hopefully I'll learn a lot from this caucus and workshop that we're doing, and maybe I can get some tips and advice, and hear how other people are doing, or hearing if maybe people's experiences are the same, which I hope is not the case. So hope everybody has a good week, 2 weeks, till we see you again. Take it easy.